Hi, welcome to Positively Sparking, a podcast on internet marketing, online productivity, and business. Today I'm with Joe Harrison, expert VA and client manager at Positive Sparks, and we're going to be chatting through our favourite apps for December and for the whole year. Hey Joe, welcome to the podcast.
Hi Phil, how are you?
Not bad. It's kind of both a happy thing and a sad thing. It's our last podcast of the year.
It is, yeah, a month early, I suppose.
A month early indeed. And For those of us who don't know, I'm taking a bit of time out to welcome a new member to my family. So that's the reason that we're not going to be podcasting for a little while.
Yeah. Gives us a break as well.
Exactly. So I thought, Joe, I'd ask you what you're going to get for Christmas. What have you put on your kind of Christmas list? I know we're still in November officially, but as it's the last podcast, tell us.
Well, I haven't put anything on my list because I don't tend to get anything anymore. I'm old now. You don't get presents
really sad.
I've got money from my dad, I know, and my mum's taking me out for Christmas Eve meal for my Christmas present. And I have a French version of Psychology's magazine from Jerome for Christmas.
Well, there we go. So there's some things there, but everyone that's listening, if you want to be extra generous this year, send Joe a present.
I do need a new Hoover.
That's a big thing to send. If you don't live in France, that's quite large.
Yeah, I've been looking at Black Friday deals, but didn't find one. So
well, there we go. There's another opportunity. Anyone who's a Hoover manufacturer, this is the person you can tweet right now with some kind of special discount coupon.
Yeah, send me a free Hoover and I'll do you a review.
What about for the world of apps? What would you like for Christmas in terms of apps, and what do you want to see in the new year?
Oh, what a question. I'm looking for the perfect invoicing app.
Oh, good one.
For next year. I need to start using a different software really, but I don't need anything too fancy, but I need it in English.
There we go.
And that it will invoice my clients in euros. So yeah.
That's quite a kind of niched request, isn't it? It's an invoicing app in English that invoices in euros.
Yeah, they are about. I've had a look at a few, but now I'm kind of like, oh, which one do I choose? You never want to like jump in with one. I want to be able to find one that I can use for the whole year, preferably, rather than keep changing. So, yeah.
I was thinking the other day how much we've actually changed across the year of doing this podcast in 2017. There's been some quite significant changes to our workflow because of all the apps we've discovered. And even now we're kind of trying to adapt to a new productivity app, which I think is our third of the year.
Probably, yes, probably.
And so this makes me wonder, are we app junkies or are we jumping for additional benefit?
Yeah, I don't know. I think for me, I think we actually mentioned this earlier in the year, or it might have even been the last one last year, about an app which combines absolutely everything, and we've not yet found that really, have we? Because we use Slack for the communication side of things, and then we're now moving to ZenKit for the task and project side of things. So we need kind of like a combination of the two mashed together so we can just do it all in one app.
And you've just written your Christmas Day list.
Yeah.
Good stuff. And so, as we're now living in November, which has not yet officially any Christmas magic, what is your first app of the month? Okay,
well, the two apps I've chosen this month, they're not ones that I've used a great deal, but I think they have got, one of them's got potential for me to use it some more. The other one is good, but unfortunately my free trial ran out and I've not had chance to upgrade. So I'll start with that one. And it's quite a well-known app actually. And I got the I've seen a few people using it online, and one of those people is Steve Dotto, and he did a webinar about it, and that's TextExpander. And it's basically, it saves you some time because you can use it for sort of template style things. So if you've got an email that you have to send out regularly, you can set up a template and just have to type in a few sort of like keyboard shortcuts, and the whole email will come up, and you can fill in some some like names, for example. I can't remember what they're called actually on TextExpander, but you can have like little gaps for different, to personalize an email, for example, or a template. So I was using that for, I think I got a month free trial, and it was really good. And I used it mainly for filling in things like your email address, to save you typing it all out, your website address. And there are also lots of ones that are set up already. There's like different groups. So I had a few groups on there. I can't remember off the top of my head. Some Slack commands I think I had on there, shortcuts to Slack commands. And there was some French things on there as well, but it annoyed me because it kept changing my English words to French words. You're asking it. So yeah, and also there was, it gives you suggestions which you can turn off. So I did get quite annoyed with some of the suggestions, and I should have turned them off. For example, at the end of emails, I tend to put "let me know" quite a lot. So it just kept popping up. You can create a TextExpander snippet with this, and I'm just like, I don't want to, because I'll forget to use it. But yeah, it's handy, and it is something definitely that I'm gonna probably upgrade next year and start using, a bit like one of the apps I got this year called Hazel, which I don't use to its full potential. I need to sit down and put some processes in place to use these apps to save myself some time.
And so first thing you said there, you're going to upgrade, which I know means it's really impressed you, because that's a big block that they've got over there. So given that, does TextExpander work across your whole computer, laptop, whatever you happen to be using? So it's not kind of specific to Chrome or a browser. This is working everywhere.
No, you can use it. You can use it on your iPhone, or I'm not sure about Android. I expect it does. So I can use it within different applications as well. So we can use it in Slack and email and everything. So I don't think I put it on my iPhone. But yeah, you can use it across different I don't know what they're called. Not applications. Different devices. That's the word I was looking for.
Okay, so that immediately tells me it's a lot more useful than I was first imagining.
Oh, okay.
So what have you used it for most so far?
The email, I set up an email within it for telling people I'm fully booked for formatting. So I could quickly just type like 3 letters, and the email would pop up. I just put in their name and then put in the date where I was fully booked until, and then done, finished. Because I mean, I get quite a few emails, and if I'm fully booked, it's like takes ages to write out the whole email every time. So for that, and I also used it for putting my email address in, actually, when you're logging into something, if you've not got it on LastPass, or if you're signing up for something. So there, I mean, there's so many sort of different ways that you can use it. Again, it's one of those things that you have, but it takes you a long time to work out what it can actually do for you, sort of on a broader scale. So it's good, and I will definitely upgrade it once I've decided how I'm going to use it. So I mean, some of the snippet groups that I've got on there, I've just found it. Emoji cheat sheet, some Slack text. Oh, they're all a bit of a tongue twister. Slack text formatting, symbols, autocorrect for English, accented words. So yeah, there's lots and lots of snippet groups available for people to add to their account.
And so this is like almost a community of people creating snippets. Interesting.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, definitely.
So when you upgrade, what is the cost?
I knew you were going to ask me that. I've not looked yet. I'm hoping it's not going to be expensive. So there's two pricing plans. You've got Life Hacker, which is a single user, and that's $3.33 a month if you pay it annually. Or there's a team one where you can share it amongst your team, and that's for monthly payment it's $9.95 for the team version.
Very good.
And that's per user. Sorry.
Okay. So it's $9.95 per user for the team version. Okay. So that could get quite expensive, couldn't it?
Yeah, it could if you've got a big team. Yeah.
Okay. Interesting. Where can we find it, Jo?
It's the website address is TextExpander.com.
Nice and simple.
Yeah.
So that kind of intrigued me more and more as you were telling us more about it.
Oh, good. You should do a free trial because it's a 30-day free trial. So I mean, I thought it was shorter than that, and when I bought my new iMac and I transferred it over to my new iMac, it carried on working, and I was thinking, I'm sure my free trial must have run out, and it just carried on working. I thought, I think they've forgotten that I'm on a free trial, and I've got it, but then it went.
So nearly you got excited, but alas.
Yeah. I thought where I'd swapped it over to my new Mac, something had happened and I'd managed to get it for free, but alas, no, I didn't.
Very good. Good stuff. Well, speaking of productivity, I'm going to do my productivity app thing of the month.
Mm-hmm.
And so this is inspired by our move to ZenKit.
Okay.
And we'll talk a bit more about ZenKit in the new year, I think, because I'm learning a lot more about it all the time.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
And after we do this podcast, I'm going to show you something you've been looking for on
Okay,
ZenKit,
good.
which I discovered by accident.
Okay.
So the best thing about ZenKit for me is it seems to unleash more creativity in me, which is probably very dangerous from your point of view.
That's what I was going to say. Is that a good thing?
Hopefully it becomes a good thing. But as you know, with me, that creativity needs to be controlled and streamlined and systemized.
Yeah.
And so it brought me to another app that I'll always adore, Evernote, because that does exactly the same thing.
Okay.
Helps me unleash creative ideas and store them. Mm-hmm. And I found on one of our commonly mentioned apps, Zapier, a little zap that connected the two.
Okay, cool.
And so this meant that I could be out on a walk with my dog in the morning. And I've mentioned this kind of thing a few times. Mm-hmm. So this is really a new way of doing this with ZenKit. And I could have an idea and speak it into Evernote, which does beautiful audio recordings, creates automatic notes from that. And then when that note was kind of finalized by me clicking on done, the zap would be triggered and he would send that Evernote to ZenKit as a new task.
Okay, good.
So this meant that, I would, as I always do, come back home, have breakfast, forget I'd even said anything into Evernote, but it would be there looking at me when I went into ZenKit.
Okay, that's good.
And this has been the most productive and freeing thing of the last week. Mm-hmm. And you actually seen a few examples of where this has benefited our clients and what we're doing. So this morning we're talking about a client and you'd done a new carousel for them. Mm-hmm. And I'd had the time whilst walking the dog to think of how we're going to make their campaign work better by targeting a different audience and connecting the two together. Mm-hmm. And that's one of many other examples that have just flown into ZenKit across the week, most of which have not been great. But the important thing is to get the ideas down. Yeah. Because within there will be one or two good ones. Yeah. So my first app is this connection of those three. A zap that sends every new Evernote into ZenKit as a new task. Good. Where this gets a bit more interesting though, because this is ZenKit, you can send it to whatever you like. So it could be a task. It could be a project. It could be a mind map whatever
Yeah.
you wish.
Okay.
And that's where it gets really clever. So that's something which I'll begin to play with next year.
Okay.
But for now, that nice little connection, it's working like a dream. And anyone else who is a bit like me and has too many ideas for their brain to ever hold on to, this is a good thing.
and you don't want to tell your virtual assistant all your ideas to fill her brain up.
Exactly, because I know that too many ideas are not going to be good for your sanity.
No, exactly, yeah.
As they're not for mine. That's why they need to come out. So there's 3 places we need to go to make that happen. We need to sign up for ZenKit, which is a free trial, and a free account, I believe, which would accommodate most people, I would say. Evernote, which again has a free account, and then Zapier, which also has a free account. So provided you're not doing too much of anything, you connect all these three things up free of charge.
For free, yeah.
There we go.
Excellent.
So what great idea of an app have you got to bounce on from that?
Well, this again actually has come from Steve Dotto. Oh, I feel like I'm plagiarising him today.
I hope he gets mentioned in our tweets about the podcast.
Yeah, and I'll apologise. I apologise now, Steve, for taking all your ideas, but you give me lots of good ideas every week. So this one actually, I think he just mentioned it on one of the webinars. It wasn't actually a webinar about this app, but it's actually called Answer the Public, and it's like a keyword research tool. And what you can do is you can type in a keyword, for example, or a phrase, a short phrase, and it comes up with a nice little diagram of what the public are talking about, what questions they're asking you around your keyword, which I think might be useful for you, particularly because you do like your keyword tools.
I do.
So I had a play around with it a little while ago, and it's actually really good. And I don't know how I'm going to use it. It might be good for things like blog posts, coming up with some ideas for blog titles, and obviously for ads as well, I suppose, if you want to put actual questions in as your keyword rather than like just a standard word. And that's it really. It's very simple. The only thing I'm annoyed about is when you go on there, there's this bald guy with a beard, and he's standing there with glasses on looking like, come on, hurry up, put your keyword in, and he's getting really aggravated. And I've got it looking at me now, and he's just there standing there looking really bored, like waiting for me to put a keyword in. So it's good. It's the first website I've seen with this kind of it's like a GIF, I suppose, on there in the background. But yeah, it's a bit annoying.
Joe, this app sounds like a dream of yours.
Does it?
Definitely does. Some old guy forcing you to type in keywords and look at the results.
Yeah, possibly, yeah. My dreams are a bit weird.
I hope that old guy isn't listening, by the way, because we've just mortally offended him.
Well, hopefully not. Well, who knows? Big brother, he probably is listening. Luckily I have it on mute. I didn't realise there's sound with it. Oh, I better not turn that on just now. Who knows what he's saying?
So what is the most obscure thing that you've typed in?
Oh, I can't remember now. I've played around with. I've put things in like virtual assistant. I probably put in some keywords around gin. I'm not sure. I can't remember what I've put in there. There's I mean you could put anything in there. For example, I mean there's not just it doesn't just come up with questions. It also comes up with, well, along the top when it brings the results, you have questions. You've got propositions, not propositions, prepositions. I don't know what prepositions are. Comparisons, alphabeticals, and related. And you can actually download a CSV file as well with the results, or save the image that comes up. So, for example, I've just typed in virtual assistant, and the visualization comes up with, it's like a mind map. Virtual assistant in the middle, and it comes off with when, why, how, and are, and then it gives you questions for each thing that comes off. So why virtual assistant, why hire a virtual assistant. You've got how much virtual assistants costs, how to start virtual assistant business Australia. So it's picking up all of the questions that people are asking in Google currently about your keyword. So
That's what I was going to ask you. So it's actually picking up search data.
yes.
I see. And it's representing that in a different way. So we see it visually.
Yeah.
And I guess it's filtering questions from just phrases.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. So yeah, no, I think it's something different. It's not just bringing us up a big list of keywords. It's bringing us up something that we can maybe use, like I say, for blog posts, even just to like get your blog post title in with the people that are searching for it, or even coming up with problems that people are searching for, and then to solve people's problems. And that's how generally people start their business, isn't it? Because they're trying to solve someone's problem.
Indeed, it is.
So yeah, no, I think it's fun to play around with, and there's so much info on there. But yeah, I've not decided how I'm going to use it at the moment. Another next year job, I think.
It's funny, isn't it, how when we get to this time of year, we begin to knock everything into next year.
Yeah. I'm knocking everything into next year now.
We're all ready for that rest over Christmas.
Well, I'm not going to have a rest. I've got to cover you.
You do, indeed. I think you'll get Christmas Day off, though.
Oh, will I?
That'll be okay.
Oh, yeah. Good.
Great stuff. So where can we find... Is it Answer the Public? Is that what you...
Yeah, it's called Answer the Public, and it's literally answerthepublic.com.
Great.
That's the website, and you'll meet the man, the bald man with a white beard. And
Who's now going to become infamously famous.
I don't know his Twitter account. I could tweet him.
So there's no cost for this, or is there a premium version of any kind?
No, not as far as I found. They've got a free email course on there which I signed up for, which haven't had a chance to go through yet. But as far as I'm aware, there's no cost so far to this.
Wow, very good, excellent, worth checking out.
Yeah.
So moving from keyword research, albeit in a different way, I'm going to take us into Facebook ads. Mm-hmm. And this kind of next discussion is not really an app, it's more of a feature that Facebook ads has launched, and as you're more than aware now, they really do launch lots of new things lots of the time.
Yeah.
Give us more and more options to do when we're advertising. Mm-hmm. And this one particular tip is great for people like you, Joe, and people like me. People who want to reach out, find new clients and customers, and schedule appointments with them. Mm-hmm. This all centers around, when we create a Facebook ad, we choose a call to action button. And there's various ones that have different phrases on there to suit the type of ad that we're trying to do. So we can choose shop now, or we can choose learn more. And this one is particularly focused on the option book now.
Okay.
So what we're now able to do is when we create an ad where we're asking someone to book an appointment with us right now, Facebook will give us a little pop-up that lets them do exactly that. Lets them schedule a time, enter the details, and do all that from within Facebook. In the same way that we can sign up to an email list using a lead ad, this is now a new feature, which for people like you and I could be quite interesting.
For you, yes. I don't like speaking to people.
Despite being a podcaster.
Yes. So in terms of, because we obviously both use You Can Book Me for appointment scheduling, does Facebook give you the opportunity to put times that you're available in there and stuff?
It does, that's right. And it can synchronize with a calendar as well.
Good.
So we can utilize that too. And so where this where it becomes a bit more useful, a bit more enticing when we're within the network of Facebook, is that people don't have to leave. Mm-hmm. So in the same way, it's kind of a very, very similar thing to a lead ad. So you can hear my dog barking there in the background, issuing his support. It is, isn't it? So whereas in the past, we had to leave Facebook to sign up to an email list and go to a third-party web page.
Mm-hmm.
This is the same, but for appointments.
Yeah.
So we no longer have to, we could have utilized a "you can book me" URL in a Facebook ad. And perhaps we'd have done that in the past so people can book something right away.
Yeah.
But using this, it all happens within Facebook and no one needs to leave, which, as we've seen on lead ads, tends to really increase conversion rate.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, it's a great idea, but yeah, I don't think I'll be using it.
Would you recommend that some of your coaching and kind of more consultant style clients would do so?
Yeah, I think that would work. I think what I would be worried about is obviously if you can set the times up around when you're available. I'd be worried that if you're putting an ad out there to thousands of people, that you will end up with thousands of calls booked in, and that would completely overwhelm me.
One of the reasons you and I are a great team is because when something like this comes out, like you will always think, oh no, it's going to cause a disaster. And I'll always think, wow, that's fantastic. It's going to change the world. And the truth is always somewhere in between.
Yeah, true.
It's a balanced view.
Yeah, I'm gonna put a challenge down on the table today and say, in the new year when you're back, you do an ad and see how many calls you get booked.
Okay.
And then see if it's doable, because I to be honest, I mean, my ads don't normally do very well anyway, but I would just be worried that I'd end up filling my whole week with calls from people.
Well, we shall see. I'll take you up on that challenge.
Okay.
In the new year, come back full of life, full of. I don't think I'll have been resting, but I'll definitely be inspired in a different way. But we'll do that. That sounds good.
Do a test, I think, for that one.
Cool. So normally now I would ask you for your favourite app of the month. But this time, because it's the last one we're going to do this year, I'm going to ask you for your favourite apps of the year. You can choose 2.
I can choose. Oh, that's good, because I was thinking earlier on, I've got 2, but I don't know which one to choose. Okay, so the 2 that I'm going to choose, I think actually one of them we haven't discussed this year. I think it may have been last year, but because I've been using it more, it's kind of my favourite, one of my favourites now, and that's Adespresso.
Wow, that's one of mine too. So you talk about it first, and I'll jump in.
Okay, I'm not going to say too much about it because you know more than me anyway. But I think when you're creating Facebook ads, it's absolutely brilliant. It's just foolproof. You can't really go wrong when you're using it. Whereas when you're using Ad Manager on Facebook, it's so complicated to work out where you're going. With Adespresso, it's brilliant. I mean, I did my very own first client ad last week, and it's going really well. And I just keep looking at the results, going, this is going really well. And it's only because I've used Adespresso that it's done so well, because I don't think I would have been able to do the same using Ads Manager, or it would have taken me a lot longer.
Completely agree. I think it makes, of all the advertising platforms out there that I've ever used, Adespresso is the most fun.
Yeah.
It's just a pleasure to use. And it kind of somehow makes the whole process enjoyable.
Yeah.
And then beyond that, it's even easier to see what's working, what isn't working. It's got better and better at optimizing a lot of these aspects of an ad itself. Across the year, it's been purchased by Hootsuite, so I guess that's made a positive difference as well. But I agree, and I think for us, as an agency, I think 2 things have happened side by side. So Facebook ads has become increasingly more powerful over the last 3 years, really, to the point at which I really, if pushed, would perhaps choose Facebook above AdWords. If I could really go one way or another. There's just so many great ways to target people, so many great formats and methods of reaching out to people. And Adespresso helps you do all of them.
Exactly.
It's a really great tool to use. So if anyone out there is thinking of going onto Facebook ads and giving that a go, it really is the tool to try. It's a great app.
And if you hurry up, and if you want to, you won't hear this. It's today is Cyber Monday, and you're not going to hear this until Friday, so you're going to miss out. But they're doing 50% off an annual membership today.
There we go. Look at that. So you're all going to miss up. Any of you that did take it up, well done.
Yeah, I completely forgot it's Monday today. We're doing this.
Well, that's both of us there, Joe. Have chosen the same one, so that might end up being app of the year. Unless, what's your second one?
My second one is Station.
Wow, so that's made a very late appearance.
It has, yes. I need a couple. Was it last month or the month before? I can't remember.
It's only, I think it's a month to 6 weeks. It's not long.
Yeah, not long. It's taken over my computer. Station has. I have refined it down a bit from what I started by adding everything to it, which I thought, well, actually, I don't use half of this stuff very often. So I've literally now just got on there the things that I use sort of on a daily basis, and it's working. It's brilliant. It doesn't take up so much memory on my computer. I get all my notifications in one place. I don't know what else to say really. We talked about it sort of last month, so there's nothing really new apart from I've just got used to it, I suppose.
And it's made your top 2.
Yeah, it has made my top 2. Yeah.
I use it every day now too.
Good.
So that further, emphasizes after a difficult beginning, perhaps.
It was a difficult beginning.
We've come to like each other, and I've discovered what it's great for.
Mm-hmm.
I still think it has 1 or 2 issues, but as long as you accept those and don't try and use those issues, you're fine. It's a great bit of kit.
It is.
But it's not the same as my second one.
Oh, I thought it might be.
So I've got to give that to Slack.
Okay. Well, Slack would have been in my top 3.
Yes, it would have been 3rd.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So, I just think Slack has really enhanced the way we communicate together this year. We've got team members out there who are communicating with us every day in Slack, and we've even got clients communicating with us on Slack. And for that reason, I've never, ever used any other productivity tool where clients have joined in.
Oh, right. Yeah, no, me neither. Well, no, me neither, really.
And so for that reason, it's just completely been a huge part of our year. And I can't see any way at all that we would move away from it. Even though we have looked at 1 or 2 other tools out there which try to be like Slack, it's so integrated with so many other tools. How do you ever catch that up?
Exactly.
Is my question.
Yeah, no, that's a good thing.
So, Station would not have been in my top 3.
Oh, really?
Maybe in another year, but it wouldn't have made the top 3. So for that reason, I think we have to make AdExpresso number 1.
Yeah. And
Slack number 2, because that was your bronze medal.
Yeah, okay.
Whereas it was my second, my silver.
Good.
But, two great apps. If you do nothing else from listening to this podcast, but just ended up trying those 2 apps, I believe our podcast every month would have enhanced your working life.
Definitely.
Great stuff.
Cool.
Well, Joe, I want to say a big thank you for all the podcasts and everything else we've done together this year.
No problem.
I want to say thank you to Amy as well, who's come into the team and really established herself and made a great difference. Dave, who's been helping us track everything we do. Yeah. James over there in the Philippines writing beautiful words.
Yeah.
Raj, our new team member, who's really making a difference to our PPC. Yeah. And Keith, who doesn't really talk to any of you guys other than me, but he does help me do my tax return and things like that on time. So, all important.
Yeah, very important. Keith is the important one here.
Great stuff. And thank you everyone for listening this year. It's been a pleasure. Love doing the podcast. It will be back next year. And until then, have a great Christmas and New Year.
My name is Phil Byrne, and I'd like to thank you so much for listening today. I hope you got something really good to take away from this week's episode for you or your business. And you know what? I'd like to give you something more. In fact, I'd like to give you a whole free web marketing pack full of all my latest and best ideas on how you can take your business forward positively online. Download your pack at positivesparks.co.uk/pack. And most of all, guys, look forward to seeing you again next week.